Alright, E1M2 Start of the game, the opening spawns. When I think about this map, I think about how you can usually predict when the key items are going to be spawning, even more so than the other maps. And on this one, it's so easy to get to all these items. Like, everyone can get to quad, for example, whereas on DM2, DM3, it can be a lot harder to get to quad quickly. So I think about, rocket launchers probably on 130, 161. I think about, megas probably going to be coming up around the 40-second mark after it's taken at the start of the game. Quad's going to be on 565, yellow's going to be on 323, 43, 63, and the green's probably going to be on similar, 323, 43, 63 as well. Rocket launcher 130, 161. So you can sort of see if this is 23 and the yellow's 23, then those are going to be key items to try and help you get into that 31 rocket launcher. Okay, so you have to be involved in these fights at the key times. Okay, again, even more so than the other maps, you really have to be involved and be present at these big moments in the first minute or two. So if we talk about the spawns, let's start with the rocket launcher. There are 10 spawn points on this map, and obviously 8 players, so no telefrags, but also 2 spawns will go unused. So 20% of the time no one will spawn here, but for now let's just assume you do spawn here. You grab it on 1. You want to go to the mega. I already opened this door, but this door will open, of course. Turn here, grab this. So you're rocket jumping off health packs onto health packs, and then you're taking the mega. So when you take the mega, you'll be straight back up to 200. Grab the ammo pack. And now what we want to do is, what we would love to do ideally is to get that 23 yellow that we spoke about. Second yellow armor in the game. If I can get that with my rocket launcher, then I'm in a great spot to have a massive influence over the first few minutes. Okay, I'll be able to make it back here to potentially cut off an enemy second rocket launcher, but I'm also going to be in a great position to run that side of the map for the first minute, and I'm probably going to get quad as well. So I'm here with 200 health, and I want to get all the way over there in the next maybe 15, I guess 10 to 15 seconds. But there's a lot of spawn points on the way, right? There's one here, there's one behind me, there's one there, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one down at yellow. So I'm probably going to pass a lot of people as I try to make my way to yellow. My team's going to help me, but look at the draw. Sometimes you're just going to run into a lot of people, and that 200 health is going to start to disappear pretty quickly. So what I would say is do not be afraid to go back and start picking up stuff and getting back up here to safety, maybe waiting for the next mega. If the push isn't on, it's not on. Okay. So best case scenario, I get all the way through and I can make it to yellow quite comfortably, and I can take this, but that might not be the case. Okay. But staying alive on this map is paramount. Okay. It's much more important than the other maps. Once you get a rocket launcher, yes, you want to progress it to yellow, but you really don't want to die. Okay. So maybe I have to go back, maybe I can make it. But that's the sequence. The important point is when this door opens, turn right, do the rocket jump, and grab the mega. Alternatively, if it's a teammate in here, you can just go through the teleporter and save the 1 ammo. This guy, on this spawn, you can come here and try and be a pest to the enemy rocket launcher as he comes through. If it's team rocket launcher, you can go and fight for quad. Similarly, this spawn, and this spawn can fight for quad. And if I spawn here, I go up, press the button, come back to the health, and start having the fight while I've got the resources. And then, as required, I can move up and grab it just as it opens. Okay, so there's 3, potentially 4 spawns fighting over the first quad there. Let's talk about the yellow spawn as well. There's a few different options with this one, but I'll tell you what Milton does, which is he spawns, he grabs the yellow, he goes immediately up here. This door is closed, of course, and it takes a little bit of time for it to open. So he bypasses that, he grabs these rockets, and then he takes the SNG, and he goes through here, and I think he then goes to start and grabs the remainder of these nails. Watch out for the spawn frag, and then he'll come through into rocket launcher nice and early. And now, not only is he in a fantastic spot to get this because he can just sort of sit here with the big SNG ammo and the yellow armor, but if and when he does get that rocket launcher, he's already got 10 rockets in his backpack, so he's up to 15 ammo. And then when you do take this second rocket launcher, typically you will find that you can go up here relatively safely and get this mega somewhere around the 45-second mark often. Because when that first guy takes it, he probably will take a lot of damage quite quickly up here and lose that mega around the potentially 20-second mark, and that's why it would then be on 45. Okay, so that's a very good way of using the yellow spawn to safely get try to get the second rocket launcher. Now everyone's going to try and get the second rocket launcher, right? So it's not a given, but that's a pretty good way of doing it. Let's touch on this spawn here. When you spawn here, definitely go to yellow and maybe try to hit this guy off. But let's say Milton's doing that sequence we just spoke about. I can chase him, try and do as much damage as possible. Okay. And just to again mention it, the reason that in that sequence with the yellow you're not waiting for this is because it's going to take a long time to come down. This guy might be shooting you, could be spawners here, could be a quad shotgun coming around the corner. You really don't want to lose more of that yellow stack than is necessary. So it would be great to have the nade, but forgo that and just get the ammo, SNG, and so on. Okay, so we've covered first rocket launcher, we've covered first yellow, we've covered guys fighting for quad. Then, as we mentioned, there will be a big fight for yellow, which anyone's welcome to get involved in. And then once you take this, let's say it's 23, you do need to be fast, right? Immediate left turn there, and then through, and then up into the rocket launcher. And there'll probably be a pretty big fight happening here on 31 to take that. Okay. As I mentioned, that green will probably be up around that time as well. And I think that just leaves 3 spawns. So we have the start spawn. Now, when you spawn here, listen, because, as I said, 20% of the time there'll be no one at rocket launcher. So when you spawn, if you don't hear a weapon pickup from over here, then shoot and go through and try and get the rocket launcher. Okay. Similarly, this spawn here, grab the green and listen. Now it's a little bit tricky to do, so if you want to just ignore this advice and grab green and grab super shotgun, that's okay, but this spawn will be quickest to rocket and you can hear it if you keep your ears peeled. Okay. If you ignore that and you go green, super shotgun, let's say, then you've got an option. Could go yellow and just help fight for the yellow at 23. Or if it's enemy rocket launcher, one thing that I've had success with recently is actually come here and wait for him to do his whole sequence in Mega, and then as he comes out and begins that push that we spoke about, super shotguns in the back from point blank range can be very effective. Okay, so actually going behind him as opposed to potentially going in front of him if you go this way. Okay, that just leaves this last spawn here in Mega, and I'll probably ruin the whole video now, but it would be remiss of me not to mention, and I will get comments if I don't mention it, that there is a trick you can do from this spawn to actually get up to the Mega very quickly using these little blocks here. Now what I'll say is, it involves jumping onto the doorway, but you're not jumping onto the doorway up here, and you're not even jumping onto the doorway here. You're actually jumping onto a hidden ledge that's here and here. So where you have that weird colored tile, you're actually going to land on top of it here. Okay. It's not the jump itself is not actually that hard. The distance is not that great. It's all about jumping at the top of this movement of the block. Okay, so I'll try it and I'll probably fail it, and I'll put a link in the description. But again, I'm aiming to land on this. Okay, beautiful. I don't have to delete the video. And then I can jump up and take the Mega and take everything. Of course, if it's Team Rocket Launcher, I don't want to do that. But if it's enemy, what you will see quite a bit, and again, maybe I'll link this, is you get on that and you grab the Mega, and then the guy is actually in your face, like a split second later, and he'll often, you'll probably kill him, and he may drop just from the surprise factor as well. Okay, so that's the spawns at the start of E1M2. Um, and yeah, just remember the key points about, I think this is more like, it's more about principles, this map. Yes, there's two routes that you should know. I think one is the rocket launcher and one is the yellow, but for all the other routes, it's really just about having common sense and being at those key fights for those key items. So if you spawn here, for example, I've told you, fight for the quad, but, you spawn here, you're probably going to die in the first 5 seconds, right? So you've died in the first 5 seconds. Okay, what's next? Well, it's either 23 yellow or 23 green, 31 rocket launcher, 43 armors. I can pick up a super nail gun. I can be involved at, then when it comes to the 1 minute mark, it's a question of, am I going rocket launcher? Am I going quad? I got to be one of the two probably. So, it's all this kind of stuff. It's just continually staying involved in those key fights in the first few minutes.